Hello, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Spoons here, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about 5 common mistakes that new Gears players make in Gears 5. So not only am I going to be talking about the mistakes that these new players make, but I'll be also telling you how to fix these mistakes if you are a new player. Now, I know that there's a lot of new players that are actually playing Gears 5 because of things like Game Pass, and just the game has had a lot of promotion around it, and there's been a ton of deals for Game Pass as well. So there's a lot of new players in the game, but something that me and a bunch of other Gears veterans have noticed is that there's a lot of new players, especially playing ranked modes, that don't really understand kind of a lot of different parts of the game. So I decided to make this video to kind of help these new players out. And if you guys do enjoy it, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below, leave a comment as well, and make sure you subscribe for more videos just like this. I'd really appreciate it. But first off here, the first tip is, or the first mistake is, not a lot of new players know actually how the game modes work in Gears 5. So one thing that's actually built into Gears 5 that not a lot of people talk about, and I don't think a lot of new players know about, is that if you actually head to the menu right here and you go to the help screen, you can actually open this up, scroll all the way down to versus. There's also this for a bunch of the different modes in Gears 5, as well as just kind of like some of the mechanics that Gears 5 has. But if you go to versus, you can actually see a breakdown of some of the modes. So arcade mode is obviously not a ranked mode, but it's a quick play mode. And it tells you, every character has a unique loadout, abilities, and upgrades. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a summary. But the really great part is Escalation. Escalation is by far the most complicated mode in Gears 5. It was the same way in Gears 4. Escalation was the most complicated mode in Gears 4. And honestly, in Gears 5, it just got even more complicated. But I still do see new players hopping into it because they're curious of what it is. And honestly, Gears 5 doesn't do a fantastic job of giving you kind of a hands-on sort of boot camp for each game mode. But what this is going to allow you to do is see a sort of a summary right here for how Escalation works, and you can see it is built for esports, so that is why it's such a complicated mode. But if you can actually go into it, and it tells you the basics of Escalation. It tells you how weapon slots work. It tells you how the life system works in Escalation, and it tells you how the loadouts work. So it's pretty cool. Even though it's not really a hands-on experience with Escalation, it's still giving you a little bit more than if you were to just queue up without knowing what the mode was. So definitely pretty handy there. You can also find out some information about QUICKPLAY. You can also find out a little bit of information about the ranked modes, but not really. And this is really where the bulk of this kind of step is going to come in, is the lobby browser. So the lobby browser is a great way to learn the game modes. Whether you're hosting your own game with a bunch of bots, or if you're just want to join another person's match, because the lobby browser doesn't actually put you in any sort of ranked system. It's just kind of like a quick play, but you're actually able to filter out which game modes and maps that you actually want to play. So it's really handy. So I'll show you guys how to use it right here. So if you head to the Versus tab and you head over to the custom section of the Versus tab, you can actually search for an online game, and this will actually let you either host a game or you can find a game out of this list. So let's say if you hit Y and you want to filter and you choose a mode here, you're like, I don't really understand how let's see, execution works. Like, what is execution? Maybe you're brand new to Gears and you don't understand how execution works. Well, you can go ahead and choose that, and you can see, bam, 2 execution matches right here in the list, and you can go ahead and join. Now, obviously, there's only one person in one of them and 2 players in the other, so that might not be that great of an experience, just because you're not really playing against a bunch of people. It's not a full match. So if you want to actually play against other people, or at least some AI, you can actually go ahead and host a game. You can create a lobby right there. You can choose the game setup. You can choose the mode. You can go down and be like, I want to play some execution. So you can head down to execution options, and you can fill it with bots. You can set the bot difficulty to beginner, and then if you conquer the beginner, no problem, you head up to intermediate, experienced, advanced, and you can just play against these bots just to kind of learn what the game mode is about. And you're not going to be making anyone upset that's in a ranked mode, because maybe you're not, you don't understand how the game mode works, and maybe other people are getting frustrated at that fact. But it's really not fair to the new player, and it's also not fair to the veteran players to have to, to deal with some new players being in the mode. But it's not fair to the new players because the game doesn't really give you a sort of boot camp for each game mode. It doesn't really explain how each game mode works other than that little bit of a help menu right there. So you can go ahead and in here you can do weapon substitutions if you want. I don't recommend it, just to kind of get the feeling of the vanilla way that execution works. You can also make it not visible in the lobby browser if you don't want people to join, which is really handy. And if you do make it visible, you can set a custom name. So there you go. All the slots are open. If I start this game up, it's going to be a bunch of bots, and I can practice execution against a bunch of bots. And it's really, really handy. So you can do this for any game mode. I definitely recommend it because I just think this is a really, really handy way to learn gears, is to hop in a private match. I know a lot of people are like posting on Reddit or talking on Twitter, like, you know, how does this game mode exactly work? Like, I'm new to Gears. Well, you can just hop into a custom lobby right here, and there you go. All right, so something else that a lot of new Gears players don't really understand is the movement and the cover system in Gears 5. So kind of the first step in learning that is to actually head to your options and change your sensitivities, because the default sensitivities, I believe, are set to 10, and that is something that is pretty dang low for a lot of Gears players, and you're going to want to bump that up to at least 20, I would say, for these three sensitivities right here. And if you don't really understand what the look sensitivity and the target sensitivity and kind of the difference between them, you can look right in the bottom left, and it tells you just how quickly you can turn the player when targeting your weapon. So I've got this guy attacking me right here. Let me just get rid of him. There we go. Beautiful. So you can actually head right in there, and you can change these three sensitivities. Your aim acceleration, you can change this. I have mine on 10, and for my inner dead zone and outer dead zone, I have those on 2. And obviously, you can look right in the bottom left there and see what each of these does. So after that, I would recommend just hopping into a private match. You can host your own game in the server browser, but I recommend not actually playing against other players, just because you're going to want to probably put one bot or two bots on the other team just to kind of learn the movement system. So let me just kill this guy real quick, because he just keeps coming right after me. Oh, potato! He just keeps coming right after me. So the first kind of staple in Gears is the roadie run. So if you hold A on your controller, you're going to do this roadie run right here. But what a lot of new players don't understand is that you can actually use this roadie run to also strafe. It's something called the roadie strafe, and it's very, very handy. So what you're going to want to do is hold left or right on your left joystick, like you were actually just strafing just like this. And you can hold A in both directions. So you can do that, you can do this, and you can kind of roadie strafe while you're headed towards an opponent. And this is just something that is very, very common with a lot of Gears players. And as you can see, that guy just missed all of his shots right there. It might not work that well against a bot, to be honest, but it's something that is very, very common with... Wow, he just spawned right back. Very, very common with a lot of Gears veterans. So I definitely recommend learning the roadie strafe. Another really important part is the wall cancel. So the wall cancel is something that a lot of Gears players use, and essentially when you're sliding into cover, you're going to want to cancel by pulling back on the left stick right before you hit the cover. So this is sort of like the baby wall bounce, or like the start of what a wall bounce would be, is just a wall cancel. Let me just kill this guy real quick. So I'm not that great at wall bouncing, but that's essentially what a wall bounce would be right there, is that you kind of wall cancel, wall cancel, wall cancel, and you just kind of keep doing that back and forth. You can incorporate some roadie strafing in that as well. And that is kind of just like the staple of Gears. Now what I'm going to do, guys, is there was a really in-depth review of how the movement system in Gears 5 works by another YouTuber named Dutchinitis. You guys probably have heard of him, Dutch. He's made a lot of great Gears tutorials and such like that, so I'm gonna leave his link to the video in the description down below. Definitely go check out his channel. He's got a lot of great tutorials that are very, very in-depth, but sort of the basics, I would say, is like the roadie strafe, because that's just kind of an evolution of the strafe, and the wall cancel, which is sort of like the start of a wall bounce. Those are very important in Gears 5 for movement, and I would suggest a lot of new players you know, try that out. But definitely go check out Dutch's tutorial if you want a more in-depth look at you know, how movement should work in Gears 5. So the third mistake that a lot of new players make, and this is something very specific to Gears 5, is that not a lot of new players know that you can actually switch between the flash grenade and the smoke grenade in the lobby before you actually get into a ranked match, and you can also switch it while you're in the ranked match. Or in the match in general. So this doesn't really apply to arcade or escalation, I believe, just because You don't use grenades, I don't believe, as your starting loadout in arcade. And then you also, you know, it's a different system in Escalation for choosing grenades and having grenades as pickups and all that kind of stuff. But in a typical ranked match for something like Execution or Guardian, you can actually head right over to your flash grenade here and hit change, and you can actually switch to the smoke grenade. Now, I know what a lot of people are thinking is that, oh, the flash grenades are OP, why would you switch away from them? Well, there's a lot of situations where you would actually want a smoke grenade. The smoke does a really great job of blocking the vision of the enemy team, and it's super useful in things like King of the Hill when you're trying to take the point of a hill. If you throw a flash grenade, sure, you can flash someone for 2 seconds, but that also means you need to push, and they're going to see you in about 2 seconds pushing, and their teammates might not be flashed, and it just isn't as effective in certain situations as a smoke grenade. A smoke grenade, you can throw it right on the hill, no one can see who's going in and out of that hill, and you can potentially go in and make a move. So it's very, very handy and very, very useful. So the way that you actually switch grenades while you're in the match, you actually have to do it when you're dead or before the match actually starts, when you're on the starting screen showing all the players. So I'm going to let this bot right here kill me real quick. This is the only time you get away with this bot. The only time. So he's going to kill me, hopefully, real quick, and I'll show you guys exactly how to switch from the flash grenade to the smoke grenade while you're in a game. So I'm going to go to the death screen here, skip the kill cam, and you can see change loadout on the bottom, and if you hit up on the D-pad, you can actually switch to the smoke grenade, and once I spawn in here, I will have the smoke grenade, and the smoke grenade is very, very handy in certain situations because look how much it actually covers, except when you're a bot and you can actually see through all this, and it doesn't really matter. But very, very handy and something that a lot of new players don't know about. Now, something else that a lot of new players don't know about is how to quick throw grenades. Now, this is for any grenade in the game you can do this with. So I just picked up some frag grenades here. I'm going to go ahead and kill this bot real quick. But this is how you quick throw grenades. So normally, if you hold LT, you're going to do this grenade spin. And if you're up against cover, you can do this grenade spin. And, you know, you got to aim where the grenade is. This is revealing your head. This is... you know, this is just, it takes too long and you're going to end up getting popped if someone has a sniper, and you're just going to end up revealing yourself, and it's just something that it just takes too long to throw the grenade, to be honest. But a really interesting way to quick throw a grenade that's not just blind firing it by holding RT, and this is something that's been around in a lot of different Gears games, is if you actually hit LT for a split second and then hit RT, you kind of get a little bit of this blue aiming sort of path, and it sort of helps you aim your grenades in a specific way. So I can actually try it right here. So if I hit LT and then RT, you can see it pops up for a second, and I know exactly where that grenade is going, even though it didn't kill that guy. And I know exactly where that grenade is going, and it's very, very handy. And instead of just kind of blind firing and randomly throwing a grenade in a random direction, you can actually just hit LT very quickly and then hit RT, and you're kind of doing this super quick toss to get the grenade where you want it to go. So I did it right there. Didn't exactly, you know, kill the guy, but it's still a lot more accurate than if you were to just blind fire the grenade. So it's very, very handy. And you can, like I said, you can do it with any grenade. You can do it with smoke grenade. You can do it with, you know, flash grenade, whatever it is. But it's very handy with the frags, just because you can kind of sneak in some frags in specific situations. Instead of going up and swinging the grenade and tossing it at someone, you can actually just kind of quick toss it in there, and very, very handy. So the fifth mistake that a lot of new players make is they just don't understand the maps. They don't have map knowledge. And something that's really handy is to just start up a private match. I know I've said this a bunch, but just start up a private match and choose some of the maps that are in here and just kind of learn them. Play against some bots, play against your friends, you know, just have a good time, but learn the maps. And one really important part of learning these maps is actually using the overhead map while you're in the game. So that helps you with callouts. So you can see on the right side when you're hovering over a map in the selection screen here, you can actually see the overhead map on the right. But if you actually went, you know, looked at a overhead map while you're in the match, and I'll start up a match right now, you can see specific areas, specific callouts, and this is something that a lot of esports players use, but it's also something a lot of casual players use as well, or should I say veteran players use as well, just because it's very easy to just call out to your team where a specific thing is if you know the map layout. So if you hold the back button at any point, you can actually see the overhead map. So on something like Exhibit, which is a kind of an oddly laid out map, I guess you could say. It's sort of symmetrical, but it's It's also asymmetrical, whatever. I don't know what the right terminology is, but you can see there's something called Ocean Spawn. There's Shark, Reaver, Ocean Exhibit, Locust Exhibit, Brumac. So what you could do is if you were playing against people and you know, you're playing with your friends and you want to say where someone is, like if you're up by here, let's say for example, I run up here and I hopefully kill this bot and don't embarrass myself. There we go, perfect. So if I'm over here, and let's say I'm fighting a bunch of people that are over there. Oh, the bot's over there now. Let me head over here. So if I'm over here, and I'm fighting people that are over there, and on the map, I'm actually at Reaver, I can be like, oh, we got 2 guys at Shark, 2 guys at Shark, and I can just say that, and that is such an easy call out, and people know exactly where I'm talking about. They know it's on the ocean side. They know that it's, wow, this thing just downed me. That's embarrassing. But in a tips video, I just got killed by a bot. Oh, look at me. But very, very handy to use this overhead map. I can't stress it enough because just getting these callouts right is so important for your teammates and for just becoming a better Gears player overall. And before we end the video, I do have a bonus tip. So the bonus tip here is talking about communication. So you know, I've mentioned communication in almost every tip in this video, but communication really is key in Gears of War. It's a very team-based game, and you need to communicate with your teammates. But I understand a lot of people do play solo. They don't have people that are interested in Gears, whatever it might be. But there's a very easy way to actually find other people in the Gears community. So what you're going to want to do is hit RT and bring up the social tab. And if you actually scroll all the way down, you can actually see a looking for group section. So this is on Xbox and on PC, and it will bring up the looking for group part of Xbox. So if you're actually on an Xbox, it actually has it integrated in the dashboard, I believe. So if you hit the big X on your controller, I believe there's a looking for group section, but I believe you can also do it within the game. But if I hit this, you guys might not see it, but it actually opens the Xbox app for me, and I can actually find people that you know, are looking for Guardian matches that say a mic should be required, all that kind of stuff. It's very, very handy. I definitely recommend doing it if you're a new player because it's always better to play with people. You're going to win more, you're going to have fun, and you might make some friends along the way. So I definitely do recommend that. So anyway, guys, that is going to wrap up the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I put a lot of effort into this video, editing-wise, you know, making sure I covered the right topics. If you want to see a follow-up video to this with some more tips, definitely leave a comment down below and let me know. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button for more Gears 5 content. I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Definitely go follow me over on Twitch. I stream a lot of Gears 5 over there, so twitch.tv/TheRealSpoons. Link is down in the description below. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.